So I did my video on the power of vulnerability by Dr. Brown, and she tells us the story of shame and fear. She tells us that shame is the fear of disconnection. So if other people know or see this thing that I'm shameful of about me, then they won't see me as worthy of connecting. And that can be based on our background, on what we look like, what we are able and unable to do, anything. We have this bubble of shame that we try to hide because we think is a roadblock to connecting with others. So she goes on to say, in order to find connection, we must reveal our true selves. I'm like, okay, easier said than done. Especially with social media, where we're constantly comparing ourselves to other people, those we may know or don't know. We always see a fraction of someone's lives, and we never see the full picture. So we don't even know what we're truly comparing ourselves to, but we're taking what we can get through tweets, pictures, posts, and things like that. And the thing is, we believe that what someone is presenting is their authentic self, which may not be true. And I've seen myself do the same. Oh, this person lost this weight. They went on this trip. They got this promotion, this job. And it really comes to show that comparison is truly the thief of joy. And so Dr. Brown goes on to say the difference between people who felt love and belonging and those who didn't was a sense of worthiness. And that we keep ourselves from finding connections by believing that we are not worthy of finding it. And I believe we really get our sense of worthiness from a young age. We look up to our parents, our guardians, our mentors, and say, well, how are they talking to me? What are their actions towards me? And what are they telling me about myself and my worthiness? As well as how are they talking to themselves? How are they speaking to other adults? What are their actions and what are they mirroring? And we definitely take that and run with it as we become adults and into our future selves. So she did a data analysis and found a pattern that certain groups had courage to be wholehearted and to be imperfect and be okay with that and give kindness to others through that. And it was also important when she was saying this, I thought of this quote that I've really gotten into is just give grace, not only to others, but to yourself. And she said that folks in her research had connections because they showed themselves grace and kindness and was able to be authentic. And so because they embraced their own vulnerability and was able to, wear their heart on their sleeve, so to say, they were able to make these deep connections. They took a leap of faith, which is definitely more or easier thing to say than do, but it is worth it. And all this led to a breakthrough for Dr. Brown, a spiritual awakening that vulnerability is not easy, but it's necessary. And that we grow numb to vulnerability and try to cope with our shame by going numb to all of our emotions. We can't selectively just say, I just want to be, numb to vulnerability, shame, fear, despair. No, that also what takes away our joy and happiness. And this makes us miserable. So what do we do to try to fill that void? We fill it with maybe this or that, maybe bad habits, but it just creates a cycle. And through this, we have become uncertain and we don't have the conversations anymore. We went from being uncertain to making things certain, like religion. We don't think of it just as a choice. This is the only way to live. And so through that, we create blame. And with blame, she says blame is a way to discharge pain and discomfort. And so instead, we try to perfect things. And the thing about it is, it's hard to be perfect. Because what is perfection? That's one of the questions I ask. What is perfection? Somebody has to define it. And usually it's those at the top that we're comparing ourselves to and trying to be perfect. But it's so harmful trying to become perfect. And we teach our kids that they have to be perfect as well. They have to make this grade. They have to get into this school. All these things. And it's becoming hurtful and harmful for kids. And we see this with the rise in young adults who are depressed and have anxiety because they're trying to reach these bars that they just won't ever be able to reach. And so I guess I'm asking, how can we continue to feel a sense of vulnerability during a time of extreme stress and lack of normalcy? Especially for those who may not have been taught to see their own worthiness or may be in certain situations right now, like being back home where they aren't feeling worthy. They grew up in a family who did not reflect that in them. How do we find connections where we are right now?